I try to take their inspiration, just make it a better version of what they want, not skew too much off of what they really, truly want it to look like. I think just to better it, listen to what their vision is and try to make it so it's not a show for us, it's actually a day for them.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and besides of being recently married, I own the leading company in bouquet preservation in the world. It is when connecting with my clients that I felt the need to serve them and help them navigate this new and exciting journey. On this podcast, we bring you everything you need to know to plan the wedding of your dreams. We'll be featuring conversations with top wedding vendors and valuable tips and advice from real couples. Whether you're engaged or simply love, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get started on this journey to your perfect wedding day. Welcome to the club, to Bridal Club.
Welcome back to Bridal Club. Today, we're not only talking about wedding planning, but the wedding planner herself. It really does take a specific skill set to be somebody who's very respected in the industry and someone who is one of the best. I'm super excited to have Kristin Butler with Fabulous Fête. Thank you so much for being here today. It really
Thank you, Andrew. So glad to be here.
Before we dive in, why don't you tell our audience who you are and everything about your business?
Sure. My name is Kristin Butler. I'm the owner of Fabulous Fête. Grew up in Dallas, in Garland. 2 sisters. We all 3 went to Baylor. I have a little boy who's 14. He goes to Trinity Christian. I met my husband after college. He went to TCU, grew up in Dallas, and then lived in Fort Worth the first 3 years I was married, and then we moved back here.
I really want to talk to you about your business. You've been in the wedding industry for 16 years,
yes.
But your story is so unique in how you started. Why don't you tell us about that?
Just kind of fell in my lap. I'll just say that. I went to college for Family Consumer Sciences, which is actually a home ec degree. So I taught 5 years in Allen at middle school and also did cheer. I love cheer. When I got married, we moved to Fort Worth for 3 years. I taught at a Title I school, home economics, and the kids were really great. That was high school. The last year in Allen, I was planning my whole wedding. Back then, you didn't really have Sally Jones was a big wedding planner in Dallas. She did the higher end ones. There were a few that still do it now that I think were more in their beginning years. So it wasn't as common in vendor contracts. You didn't see, you have to have a wedding planner. It's required. You didn't see any of that. There was a lady at the venue that helped with setting out stuff. She was more of the day of planner, but I did everything myself. I would stay up late. I've always been very creative. I even when I was little, I had an art cabinet just filled with stuff, beads, sequins, paint, slick paints, stuff to make whatever you want to make. When I was in high school, I had a mum business.
Really?
So I would make the mums, even the back of everything. I did everything. The mums sold them. So I've always been kind of creative where I needed something to do. And I've always been very busy. I've never been someone that just sits and watches TV or watches a movie for hours. That is not, I never sit on the couch.
Same.
Yeah, we are the same of that. You've always been involved in something. What started just love the wedding part. I love the details and all this stuff. So we go to my wedding and I have my wedding. It's great, whatever. It wasn't the most highest budget. It also wasn't very simple. It was just very well done, very pretty and thought through and flowed, and everyone understood the details of where to be when. It was very organized, a very good organizer. And my mother-in-law's friends were coming up to me at the wedding and they were like, you should be a wedding planner. This is your talent. Wow. And they'd been to a lot of very high-end socialite parties in Dallas. And they were like, no, you have to do this. And I thought, this is so strange. And we went on our honeymoon. And husband's like, I think you should start it. I was like, yeah, I'll just start it as fun. You just never know. Why not start something?
A hobby, right?
Yeah. And so we took out an LLC, decided I would just do it. So then I had, within the first year, 2 sorority sisters called me to do their weddings. Both of them went into magazines. My own went into print, but then both of theirs went into print. And then I will say that from then on, it was just I call them hobbyist planners. They're just doing it for fun. That's what I was at the beginning. Right. It was just for fun. And I was like, I'm just not going to do very many. I'll just do a few a year, which sounded like a good plan at the time. Yeah. I'll just do a few a year. This is a fun job. And then I got pregnant, had a little baby. That's a whole nother world of trying to get through, very hard to adjust. And then so I still did just a few. I remember 6 weeks after Barrett was born, I had a giant wedding of 500 people. Back in the day, used to have giant weddings because it's very rare now because it costs so much.
Right.
But I remember I would stay up every night on the top of being that newborn stage. And I got through it. I don't know how. I remember going to Glen Eagles Country Club, and at the time I was breastfeeding him.
Wow.
My husband brought him up there, and you just learn to adjust. So then I just started getting phone calls the same way I've always gotten phone calls. That's the way I've always done my business, is we're just like, if you know, you call us. And then it's just grown. My first wedding, 3 years in, that's the first time I had a helper at one. She's still with me today.
And this is 16 years ago?
Almost 17 this July. I was never trained, which I find a lot of planners were trained by someone that's like me. Like, you were my intern or you worked for me for a while and then you went out and did your own business. What we do is so different than that. We're just like totally different. We don't like any rules of, this is what a wedding planner should be doing. And I do agree with that and what they do. But the training, the associations, the things like that, we've always just grown naturally. And I've just learned how to do it and run. I mean, I did not have a business degree. I am not good with accounting. I'm not here to do your math. I'm here to do your creative and make your wedding pretty and run organized.
Yeah. Well, actually, your story and mine are very similar because mine started as a hobby too. Really, Justin, my husband, had his business and I was just trying to make time because I was not going to watch TV while I was waiting for him to get home. And so it was just a hobby. And it started growing with family members first and then, obviously where we are today. And I didn't take any classes. Nobody taught me how to do anything.
You're a very successful self-made because look what you've done now.
Well, thank
it's
you.
Amazing.
Likewise.
It's amazing with a little bit of talent and the grace of God and what you can get when prayer and just giving you a chance. And I look back and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe they put that in my hands to be in charge of their wedding. I was like, that was a lot to manage for someone that didn't have much experience.
Yeah. And
same thing with you. Like you really could have messed up their bouquet they love.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Since you're here, I want to thank you on behalf of my entire crew that you trust us with your...
I wish that I had known that you could do this when I got married.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved to just even have a little tiny piece of something preserved of the flowers.
I mean, it is really such an honor to see your events on Instagram, and I would die to go to one. Like, I just want to be there when you're working.
It's always fun to be a guest.
I bet. But to see the type of productions that you create and be able to preserve that for your client, we don't take that lightly. And I hope that we just love that y'all. And you're here in Dallas. It's just such a good fit. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Obviously, I have a lot of questions about your business itself, but that skill set that I mentioned earlier, you really do have to have a specific skill set to be an entrepreneur itself. Like 3% of the people are entrepreneurs and are successful and that have been in business for over 10 years. When it comes to wedding planning, there's another set of skills that not even entrepreneurs have. Statistics of wedding business lasting is even less than an entrepreneurial business because it's just the stress. And there's periods of time where I'm never home on Saturday. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and I don't go to games. I'm glad it started when my little boy was little because he didn't know any different. right. And I'm glad we're having this conversation. Selfishly, I wanted to ask you, how do you balance your life? I love that you go to vacations, by the way, and you prioritize family. You're such an inspiration when it comes to obviously your business, but then also how you handle your personal life that you share on Instagram. So thank you for doing that. You have to have a balance. Because you get very burned out with wedding. There are periods of the year where it is just, you go and we live in, I call it Grand Central Station. You feel like you're in a tornado because there's so much coming in and out. The deliveries, the stuff, everything, people asking questions, the phone calls, the meetings, it could be a lot. Yeah. So there are periods of the year that are also very slow. So that's a good time to go take a break. And I also think traveling, not just for a wedding planning business, but for anyone that's creative or wants to see things, it's so good to go see new and different from what you're used to, and it's so good for everyone. Yeah, I feel like it's so refreshing, and then you truly find inspiration in the silliest things. Just anything, the wallpaper in a bathroom. It can be like, wow, look at that, the lighting in a room. You have a team of how many people? It's 15. 15. And most of them have been there for a very long time. A long time. That's amazing. Yeah. What do you think that attributes to? Well, I've always looked very, very particular. When you come, you have to be a good fit. Make sure you go along with not just me, because I'm only one of the 15. But we're all kind of the same personality and have the same work ethic, kind of understand you sometimes have to pull the weight for other people when you don't want to do it. You might have to work another hour when you don't want to be there, every day. I've never hired someone that wanted to be a wedding planner. Only one. This was last year, my first hire. She's no longer with us. I think she realized it was not what she thought it was going to be. Okay. But the rest of them,
I've just trained them on, kind of like me. I wasn't trained to do this. So I've just kind of trained them with my own way of how I think, we should do things. And it's very successful. I will say that. My second compliment after a client has a wedding, oh, that was so wonderful, that we loved it, is in your team. They were so nice to be around with. They were so nice. They did this. They made me feel this way. I'm like, yeah, they're just like really a blessing.
I was at the Navy SEAL Foundation last week and a planner was sitting right next to me. And she goes like, did you see that wedding with the flowers? I'm like, yeah, you're talking about Kristin Butler's, the pink and purple. Everybody talks about this wedding.
I'm sure loved it because all the flowers there.
Oh my God. I was like, what? I would have loved to be there for like a second.
Just to take it all in of the magnitude of the flowers. Yeah. Bella did they knocked it out.
Oh, like how can we just preserve a little bit of that? I've been to a lot of events lately. Everybody talks about your weddings. Do you realize how inspiring you are to a lot of people?
Well, that's very sweet of you. I don't even think of it that way. I know that's going to sound weird. We just really try to just keep our books full of what we need to do each year, do a good job on every single one of them. The big ones are really fun to do. I will say that. We're fortunate. We have very nice clients.
I want to talk to you about like balancing the special moments and the more intimate moments with brides and grooms so they don't get lost in the scale of the productions that you do. How do you manage all of that?
Well, the production, sometimes it's a big production. Sometimes it's, there's all the ranges of the weddings we do. So sometimes they're simple, but we really just try to focus on the day of. I want the bride to have a really nice day. It's very important that they didn't have to worry about anything. Everything's taken care of. That's very important for me. Also, just making sure the clients know where to be. We're there to help them if they need a water, whatever they need. That's real important to me with the brides, making their wedding what they want. That's another key thing that I think a lot of people lose sight of. They want it to be what the planner wants. I could take what your inspiration is and turn it into totally something else or something over the top or this or that. I try to take their inspiration, just make it a better version of what they want, not skew too much off of what they really, truly want it to look like. We're there, I think, just to better it. And I think that's one reason we're so successful is that we really, truly take their considerations outside of something's going to be a giant mess or like we know that this is not the right way to do it. We will be very clear like, hey, this is going to be a mess if you decide to do this. But I just think try to make it what they want, try to listen to what their vision is and try to make it so it's not a show for us. It's actually a day for them.
Yeah, you're very detailed when it comes to everything. We were looking at your video just this morning on that same wedding, the butter, the cake rotating. Like, how do you even come up with these ideas?
I just travel thinking, thoughts of just, how everyone has their talent. Yeah. That's my talent.
Yeah, like you're the visionary. But
some people are talented in writing. Some people are talented in talking to people. Some people do math. That's not me.
That's not me. I know, right? How do you manage the stress of the whole family? Because obviously there's the couple, but then there's the family. I recently went to my sister's wedding and my family was so stressed, like beyond stressed.
Well, a lot of it's in pre-planning. Just assuring, we pre-plan very carefully and we're very communicative in what's going to happen on the wedding day, how it's going to go, what to expect, how we're going to be, who you're going to be with. And that, I think, cuts down on a lot of stress. But I do think there's sometimes that there's a lot of writing on a wedding day. There's a lot of resources going towards it. There's a lot of thoughts towards it, a lot of financial resources. You're going to have to make a conscious effort sometimes to calm down. And it doesn't mean they're stressful on their wedding day. They're usually very excited and happy. I have had clients tell me over the years, they're like, if you have a client and they're stressed out, and they're worried about this, you just need to tell them. There's no reason for that afterwards. You're going to look back and think I shouldn't have been that stressed or nervous or had anxiety about this. And I do think that's important. It's hard to see, in hindsight, everything's easier.
Right.
But looking back, you can see gosh, these girls did take care of it. There was enough of us to help you with what you needed help with. My team is very thorough and very, I would say, extremely organized. And if there's something to catch about a mistake, one of them's going to catch it. Yeah. Before we ever get to the day, or if the day of I have everything that we can fix it.
Right. It's like the white glove experience that most people talk about when they think about you, is really anticipating those needs.
We do. I think we're good at anticipating, but also good at troubleshooting. And we're also good at seeing what's coming down the line and what we need to do. A lot of people underestimate vendor teams. Vendor teams are so important because if I'm working with a team that I work with regularly and I know, and they're going to go get something fixed for me, it's accessibility.
Yeah.
My lighting guy will help me. The band will figure it out. The floor will figure it out. And that's part of why you use a planner that does a lot of weddings and does a lot with the vendor team.
Tell me more about what a full service planner is, because I know it means a lot of different things through different planners, what it means to you and what you could do for them as well.
Full service to me means you're doing anything that you can take it off of them to do that makes it easier for them. So like also making it very organized all the way through. So going to meetings. A client I find is really hard for them to know the first step in how to order linens or do design work or how to do lighting. Lighting's like a foreign language. I have a family member getting married and it's been real eye-opening. It's in another part of the country and I don't think Dallas wedding planners travel to that market.
Okay.
But it's been very eye-opening because it's a full service planner, but full service for this one planner, which she is a very good planner, but it's just a little different. And then I have clients call me and they say, well, this is full service, but you're full service too. But it's hard to know what comes in the full service because there's not a black and white run sheet of what a full service planner does. But I just think anything for full service should be that they take care of you on the day of, and they take care of you by doing as much on your end as you can and not their end, and as you can and not their end. Mm-hmm. There's certain things brides have to do, like they have to enter the names and the addresses on their guest list. But once they give it to us, we manage it.
Right. I would say that I did have a full service planner for my wedding. Thank God. I don't think I could have done like my business well enough.
It's a job.
Yeah. I really always thought I was going to plan my own wedding and really put a lot of effort and thought into it. And I ended up not doing it. But again, it worked out for my business. However, I feel like I
took all your thoughts and the planner can take those and make it happen for you.
Exactly. Yeah. And I felt as though I was a guest, like the main guest of honor for the wedding, and it was perfect.
Yes. And she took care of everything and you just were there walking. Yes, that is how it should be.
Yeah. And I've been to weddings where they don't have that. Or as you said, they're full service, but not to that.
They just don't do everything for you. I have clients tell me, oh my gosh, at the end of this wedding, the bridesmaids had to collect everything and pick it up and things like that. And I'm like, you should at the end of a wedding go home or go to an after party or go to wherever you're going to go out with your friends, not be working and worrying about if the stuff was what you're going to do with this stuff. And, at the end of the wedding, your stuff should just either be in your car or your hotel room. You shouldn't have to worry about, I need to grab my bag.
Yeah.
Those are little details that I think people, when clients say, oh my gosh, you took care of everything. There's so much that they don't even realize that can be taken care of. It's not because they don't know, but just because they haven't gone through a wedding recently, or they had another planner for another child's wedding and then they have us and they're like, gosh, y'all really did everything.
Right.
We try to make it where it's like, because it's a fun, wedding should be so, I look back at my time of getting married, it was such a great time. I loved it. Awesome. It should be fun. It's probably are going to just do it once, and it's fun to be a bride, and you need to that's part of the gift a planner can give you, having fun time being a bride.
I agree.
And fun with your mother or whoever your secondary. Sometimes it's just the bride that is planning. Sometimes it's a groom. Most of the time it's a mother. But it should be a good time for the group.
Yeah, I agree. My brother got married here, and just like a few years after being in the United States, and weddings in Mexico are a little bit different. They're like really big. Well, they're kind of like the weddings that you produce, right?
Yeah, they are big.
They're really
lots
big.
of things going on and activities.
Exactly. Like they're typically like 2-3 days, always black tie. And I had never been to a wedding where you have to pick up your own stuff. At my brother's wedding, we had to. Yeah. Like we were literally picking up the chairs, the everything.
Oh, wow.
And
it kind of makes you look back, and that's what it's
remember.
It's not the fun that you should have enjoyed your day.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice that you would give your couples?
I would just give them the same thing I said a moment ago, that it's just a short period of time. Probably going to be the one time you do this. And just enjoy it and have fun. And some of my clients really go out all out. Like we have a tasting and they get a hotel room. Other clients, bridal portrait days are really fun. And it's just it should be happy. It should be a time where everything is, I know with a wedding, there's going to be a kink or a down spot because there's a lot going on. It's a lot of stress for some parts. And I can understand how sometimes it's usually actually a lot of times people get frustrated, but it's usually with a family member. It's not anything with the actual wedding. But there's people that can cause problems, or not intentionally, but just like cause stress for the family or the bride. And I would just say, try to let the planner handle what you've hired them to do and help them with all the little details that are the nitty gritty, like, ordering stuff for your wedding or your welcome boxes, or those are things the planner should be dealing with. I don't understand, I know it's be fun to do some of that, but I don't think during your own wedding is the time to do that. Do that for friends or something else, but enjoy the time in the moment, because it goes by in a flash, especially the weekend of the wedding. But the planning can be really, every meeting can be fun. It can feel like you're just doing something. Most of my brides really look forward to meetings, I think, because it's something we're going to go look at something that's, flowers, or we're going to get to go taste a cake.
Right.
And then any of the the in the weed stuff, let the planner do it.
Right. Yeah. Like with you, everything that they do with you, it's an experience, like throughout the planning, and of course the wedding day off as well.
Yeah, I think it's fun to go experience just the different parts of the wedding.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you need to have millions of phone calls. That's not fun. Having millions of phone calls with things that the planner can take care of is not fun. That's going to be a beatdown for anyone. Letting the planner take care of the back paperwork, the research, the managing people is that's why you've hired a planner. Hire one that can do all that for you and do it right.
Yeah. In other words, hire her to plan your wedding, because seriously, all your weddings are absolutely stunning. And I love the fact that you don't even have a website.
I just took it down. I just one day was like, there's no, I don't know. It just kept being annoying to me. You have to constantly pay someone to update it, do it. I don't think people go on my we're going on my website to get leads.
Wow.
It's always just people have called and said, hi, I know I got your information from so-and-so.
Well, those are the best customers too.
Yes.
They had either experienced your wedding or somebody has experienced your wedding before as well.
And seen or been at your wedding, or they were at lunch with their friends, or sometimes it's girls in their office. I get a call. She's like, oh, my girls in my office are talking like that, or it's a bridesmaid. Sometimes it's been a bridesmaid that was in our wedding. And she's like, this was such a fun day. Everything was taken care of. You should call this girl. When I was a bridesmaid in so-and-so's wedding, everything went well.
That's such a compliment.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Before we go, you mentioned your mentor. I want to talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Oh, mentors are so important.
Yeah.
So I have two that kind of took me under their wing in a weird way, because they're not really people that you would think, oh, Kristin would line up with these people and be friends. But Emerald City has been extremely nice to me through Doug, the sales guy. Started doing weddings with them. And it's very important as a planner, or just in any category you're in, you need support and you need best friends in that section, and you need a mentor. Mentors, I hope one day I can be a mentor like they've been a mentor for me. But they, guide you, tell you what to do, how to sell, how to do this. If I have a question about what should I do about this problem happening, a mentor is invaluable to help you with it, as what they've gone through. And Dino is Emerald City's been very successful. He's just like me, started from the ground of just people playing. People called him. He got more popular in the 80s at the clubs, grew his band. Now it's just this huge thing. Mentors are just such a gift, and I'm so grateful for mine. And I just hope that everyone at some point can be a mentor or get a mentor.
I love that. I love that so much. Thank you for saying that. How can people connect with you and hire you?
Oh, call me. Just call me or email us is the best way. Set up a time to talk, and then we'll have a phone, and we just talk to you, and we'll get some details on your wedding, ask some questions.
Perfect. What's your social media handle?
Fabulous Fête.
Okay, check her out. Your jaw is going to drop. Trust me.
Oh, Andrea.
They have, even your clients, the video is there, and they're just like, oh my God, I cannot even imagine being them and seeing your productions in person. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you having me on here, and thinking that I should be someone you should even call to talk to and do a podcast is very honor. It's an honor.
It truly is an honor for me and by your entire team too. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Learn about all things wedding straight from the experts. Be sure to like and subscribe to Bridal Club.